Hi, hello, and welcome to Simonson Farms. I'm Justin Simonson. I don't even know what to call today. It's snowing outside. It's weather. We've got some things going on here in the shop. I'll swing around. We'll look. Quadtrac is where all Quadtracs seem to end up, and that's in the shop. It's having some minor issues. If I can wheel around here. There are parts missing, aren't there? Such is Quadtracs. Yeah, they're great when they're in the field, but when they're in the shop, oh boy, we're actually having some engine troubles. Last spring we cracked a cylinder head. They absolutely just give those away. I mean, they're not expensive at all. I think we were out something like $20,000 to have that repair affected, and it's, well, here it is. Ever since that repair was made, we haven't had good oil pressure in the engine, and so we're trying to hunt that down. And we haven't had good power in the thing. I think maybe even since we bought it. So we're trying to remove something that we're told by the mechanic will likely, hopefully, get some horsepower put back in this tractor. So that 485 number is supposed to be horsepower, and right now our 375 Quadtrac is outpulling this thing by a wide margin. So we need this to be, full power. Anybody watch Home Improvement as a kid? Some Tim Allen there. Can I do the grunt? No. But we need more power, and that's what this tractor was supposed to give us, and it hasn't yet. So give me a minute, and I'll actually kind of like point some things out, and so we can see what it is that we're fighting against here. All right, so what on earth are we looking at here? On this 485 Quadtrac or case tractor model, they have this bizarre device. As you can see, there's this involute, looks very much like a or snail shell, really, is kind of what it looks like if you want to get into something a little more nature-based. But there's a turbine wheel in there, turbine fan, I believe, that turns. Yeah, now that I got diesel soot all over me. But it is somehow, because of this massive cast iron here, somehow this gear and the turbine wheel in here, which the exhaust is moving through, enters here, exits out there. Somehow there's a connection between those two. I'm not sure if the gear or this gear here that's driven by the engine ends up driving this turbine shaft and increases the speed at which the exhaust moves out of the engine, which I would imagine would be some sort of power draw or drain, drag. It would be parasitic to engine power. Or whether or not the exhaust moving through here would end up driving this shaft and then driving this gear, which would be adding power to the engine. I've heard people explain this both ways, and I'm uncertain. As far as I can tell, and from some of the literature about this, this block of cast iron here, this body or box, whatever you want to call it, it might be some sort of fluid coupler for a an example of a fluid coupler that people might be more familiar with. That's like a torque converter in a car. So I think if I get bored someday, I'm going to take this thing apart just to see how it works. But that is interesting. Where that belongs is up in here. You can see we have some holes blocked off in the engine. Don't pay any attention to those. Those are other, not related to, but that gearbox, fluid coupler, casting body, whatever you want to call it, sits in there. And then there was plumbing between the turbocharger, the turbine output, or exhaust output, went to it and did things, and then eventually went up here into the muffler and exhaust stack. I'm not at all sure how any of this is actually supposed to work, but the advice from the mechanic is that we remove that PTO, or this PTO turbine, whatever you want to call it, for the sake of getting some more power back in the tractor. So I'm a little bit upset with it. Like I may or may not have mentioned before, things have gotten fuzzy. Shortly after purchasing this tractor, as you can see, the head in the tractor is rusty and new. It cracked it cracked the cylinder head, which was an expensive repair, and I have a whole litany and list that I can go on about these tractors, or these engines, that I'm not super thrilled with. Maybe in the future they will prove me wrong, but I'm gonna guess that buying a tractor, new to us, and having it immediately blow up is going to sour my position. So there's just little things about these engines that they're not well designed for maintenance, to increase the amount of uptime, time that they are operational. Everything to replace parts takes time. There's nothing that is made to be easy access, for very critical system parts, and that's what happens when you have a 12-liter engine trying to perform like a 14-liter engine, I have a feeling. But nonetheless, that's an interesting thing that's going on here. We've got a PTO-driven turbine that either uses exhaust gas to add horsepower to the engine, or is using horsepower to expel exhaust gas more quickly. The weather forecast called for a little bit of snow today. Actually, it called for snow and rain. I assumed it was going to be a few snowflakes and that it was just going to be rain. This is looking kind of official. Good grief. It's what, the 25th of March? Ugh. We're going to have a fun spring. Anyway, that's some of what's going on here. Did I mention it's snowing outside? I've gotten a little taste of field work, and I want to get it done now. So, but yeah, there'll be more of whatever this is. We're having to fabricate some stuff or just completely make up some utter BS. So, farming. Anyway, I appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video. If you are watching this, you do know how the internet works. So, if you could use your manual manipulators, tap and click on some buttons, I'd be very much appreciative. I enjoy that stuff. If you have some questions, or I have seen some things that you want to learn some more about, leave me a comment. I'm more than happy to do some community engagement, I guess that might be called. I'll interact with people. I'm a bright and shiny person. But no, I like to answer questions. That's very much a thing that I like. Um, and if you can think of somebody who might like, so learn a little bit about this, go ahead and recommend the video to somebody. That'd be real nice too. Um, more proselytizing. I love that. Uh, but for right now, that's all I've got. And I've got to get back to work because I've got a tractor that doesn't work. I'll see you next time.